Hello! Welcome to Radius Online English. This is Jahangir Masood. Long time no see. How have you been? Today, I'm here on Frame to talk to you about a very important written tool, and that's Paraphrase. So let's get started. Suppose you have an essay and the topic is global warming effects fall most heavily on developing nations. Do you agree? Now let me show you the way how many students answer. Okay, many students answer this way. Yes, I agree. Global warming effects fall most heavily on developing nations because, and then they give their problem if we start this way. Yes, I got it right. That's the big problem. Well, if you notice, you have the same exact words that are in the question. All right. So if we use exact the same wording that is in the question, you actually lose your mark. But why? Let me tell you. Because you're not showing your ability. You have simply copied it. Now I'm going to show you the ways in order to improve your writing by paraphrasing. The default is please note them down or keep this right at the top of your mind. Tip number 1, changing words. Meaning, think of some synonym, come up with some synonyms. Number 2, changing words order, meaning you can change the placement of the order. You can change the placement of the words order. Number 3, changing parts of a speech. What's that? Now let me give you an example. Like develop is a verb. You can change it into noun, development. Tip number 4, last but not least, and that's sentence pattern. Meaning you can change the simple sentence into complex and complex into compound. So changing different sentence pattern gives gives diversity and variety to your writing. So it really works. So let's do it. Think about some new words. But unfortunately, many students simply repeat the same wording and same sentence pattern every sentence. That you shouldn't do. At the same time, you must be careful about the word that you come up with, because there might be a little bit difference between the meaning in the word that is in the question and the word you think of. Okay, so you must be like comfortable and you need to be sure about the meaning of the word that you come up with so that it doesn't sound strange. Because I found that some students think of new word and they think, oh, it's a great word to use, and then they start using, right? But it really sounds strange. So make sure that you know the meaning of the word that you come up with clearly, and right then you can use it. All right, students, so let's paraphrase the topic. What was the topic? The topic was global warming effects fall most heavily on developing nations. Do you agree? Okay, now let's select some words and come up with some synonyms. Number 1, can you think of a word for global? Yes, I got it right. Earth. Earth can be the synonym of global. Okay, now what can be the synonym of warming? That's great. Okay, you got it right. It's temperature, right? So Can you tell me a word for effects? Impact, correct? A word for heavily. Think of a word for heavily. Well, you can say massively. Massively is a nice synonym of heavily, all right? Okay, now the next word, developing. Think of a word for developing. Well, we can say growing, all right? Growing can be its synonym. What can be the synonym of country? Well, nation is the synonym of country. Okay, now the paraphrase of the topic is growing nations are mostly affected by Earth's temperature. Alright guys, that's the one way of good paraphrasing. Now, let me show you the best tool of paraphrasing that will really help you to improve your writing. So let's see. Alright guys, now let's paraphrase the same topic stated before with concession before we define what concession is. So can you remember what was the topic? Global warming effects fall most heavily on developing nations. Do you agree? Okay, now we'll do paraphrase with concession. Though many would argue all the countries of the world are affected with the global warming. Though many would argue that all the countries of the world are affected with global warming, I think its impact dropped massively on developing nations, growing nations. If you do this, your examiner will think that you consider the topic, the issue in two different points of view, two different perspectives. All right, that proves your analytical or critical thinking ability. Okay, so in summing, we can say that concession is where you show what the opposite opinion is and when you show what your opinion is. Trust me, concession is a pretty cool tool that will really help you to cut a good figure in exam, and it will improve your writing. You simply go to the Google Classroom and hunt for the worksheet. Solve them and then submit it and let me check it out. I'll give you the feedback, inshallah. Well guys, so that's all for today. See you soon. Cheers!